Once again, back with another episode of the crossover. It's been a few weeks, but we had to, let things marinate for a little bit. We got a lot of big games going on, and now we have a chance now to break down the first round and give our thoughts of so far what's happened in the second. Ravi, man, what do you think for the first round, man?
Hey, man, it's been a very entertaining first round so far. I think, one of the favorite series I really enjoyed watching was that Miami and the Charlotte series.
Yeah, it was a good series.
That's one that we that we called out in the preview that we did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I didn't expect Charlotte obviously to do as well as they did. Kemba was a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Lin again showing flashes. Is the contract year for him?
I don't think it is, actually. I don't think so.
But I think Charlotte is a little bit ahead of where I thought they would be at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed that series. But Wade hitting some tough shots, closing out Game 6 on Charlotte's home court. Had some words for the fan as well. Put him in his place.
The purple shirt man, as he's known as online.
Exactly.
That was funny, man. That was like old school stuff right there.
That's exactly it, But Wade hit some incredible shots on the stretch last Friday night.
And I had Charlotte in 7, actually. So I mean, I had Charlotte in 6. So that game I was looking for Charlotte to close them out.
Yep.
It was a great series.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything else. I mean, aside from the. I think the Blazers series. I think both of us actually picked the Blazers in the preview to beat the Clippers possibly.
Yeah, I think I picked the Clippers, but I wasn't gonna be surprised if the Blazers took that to 7. That was my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the injuries there did them in.
Yeah, Clippers luck.
Hey man, it gives Doc an excuse to keep the band together for one more year, right? I mean, obviously Golden State took care of business. Over in the East, we know what's happening in the East.
Let's get to it, man, because we don't need to talk
Let's get to it.
I mean, I love my Pistons, but they fought hard. But when it's all said and done, that was going to be what it was. Sorry for the phone folks in this case here, man. Under renovations, as they say. I see some people in the background. That's the missus. Anyways, let's get back to what I was going to say. Okay, Toronto. This Raptors team. I mean, I don't know you. I text you, I think, and the rest of the fellas at halftime and in the third quarter. I was seething. I tell you, this team in itself is like a psychological experiment. Just trying to figure out, a sports psychology. You could have a thesis on them to figure out the mindset of the Toronto Raptors and figure out what is up with this team. First thing, I was, and for folks that didn't happen to see me on the game last night, that's a whole other story. I don't know. It's just on Ravi. Since I was on TV quite a bit last night at the game, but we'll get to that in a second. But Game 7 and the Pacers series, I found the Raptors a series that should have probably been done in maybe 6 games, maybe 5 games. The Raptors' lack or inability to execute properly, the coach not willing to make adjustments quick enough, almost costed that team the series. And their star players not showing up really. And I mean, I said it then, I say it now. When it all comes down to it, man, I know all you guys on Twitter, you know who you are. All you guys on Facebook, you know who you are. You know what? Hey, the DeMar haters out there, I get you. I see you. In this case here. But let me tell you something. Stop giving Kyle Lowry a pass. You guys in Toronto, media, fans, bloggers, whoever you are, stop giving Lowry a pass. Every time this dude has a bad game, it's like, oh, well, he did this well, he did that well. Dude gets paid to put 22 points a night, not to put 11 on the night. Too many turnovers each night, 3 turnovers almost like games for the last few games. I'm sorry. And the dude has no confidence left. None. And as far as the coach goes, he doesn't have a clue what he's doing half the time, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apply to him like he's next Red Auerbach because he got through the series. He did so many boneheaded things in this series. He played Louis Scola for like 3-4 games for what reason? Anyone could see what was going on there, but except for Dwayne Casey. So, as far as I'm concerned, changes got to be made at the end of the season. Whatever happens, the status quo cannot stay the same. I am saying it right here, right now. Raptors, brass down there on Front Street, on Bay Street, wherever part of the intersection you want to pick. Let me tell you something. You better start putting out offers for Lowry right now. You heard it here first. Remember, B was the first one that told you so. Put the trade offers out now. Because let me tell you something. A 30-year-old point guard in this case here has already got wonky injury issues and got psychological issues in playoffs. You best get rid of him now before it's too late. Well, he's still tradable. Do it now. Everyone's worried about DeRozan is $25 million. As far as I'm concerned, that's the easier decision of the two. That Lowry situation got to be dealt with this summer. That's all I got to say about it, man.
Hey, man, I think you summed it up perfectly. I don't dispute anything you just said. Yeah, usually I'll dispute a couple things here and there, but I totally agree with you there because, I mean, we've had conversations offline, obviously, right. And first I'll start with the coach. You're absolutely right. Lack of adjustments. Mm-hmm. His substitution patterns are just, I just don't understand them at times.
He cost us the game last night.
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. At the start of the fourth quarter, he had he had both DeMar, Lowry, and JV.
Here's the unit, folks, in case you were out having dinner with your husband, your wife, and stuff like that. This is the five he started with, which I recall seeing, at least during the season, this much. Terrence Ross, that's already a bad start. Bismack Biyombo, Patterson, Corey Joseph, and Norman Powell. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Unless there's injuries, the only time you see that five out together. And he started the fourth quarter down 5 with that group. That blows up to 10, and we're fighting uphill for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it went to a 10-point lead pretty quickly.
Yeah. Don't even start me. I was coaching more than him on the bench last night behind him. Another thing the dude did last night. We need a 3-pointer in this case here. I'm like, where the heck is Terrence Ross? Why are you sitting on the bench? It's like someone remember all of a sudden the last second I see like an assistant coach rushing to get Ross in there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious?
Exactly.
You know, I got one more. 9 seconds left. JV's out in the court when you need a 3-pointer. Explain to me why is that necessary? JV takes threes with Dirk Nowitzki or something? What the heck is he doing out there?
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. The substitution patterns was my biggest issue. I mean, and the lack of adjustments, like you said. DeMar DeRozan, 18 points in these plays, averaging 18 points on 33% field goal percentage.
Trust me, he got to get some of this too. Okay.
Man, I totally agree with you with Lowry. We got to see what we can get from. We got to pull the fleece over. So I'm just hoping and praying he has a couple of good games, so we can get some trade value.
Here's the reason why I'm harder on Lowry than I am on DeRozan. Maybe the reverse of everybody else in this city. I am more willing to take the guy in this case who's willing to pull the trigger. I ain't losing. If he misses shots, he misses shots. It's the playoffs. No one's percentage is going to look that pretty. But I'd rather have the guy in this case who's willing to take the shot and not look fearful than the guy in this case here doesn't want to take a shot from 8 feet. You know, that dude serves me no purpose. None.
Yeah, agreed.
None.
He passed up he came off a lot of screen and rolls where he was right in the key, and his shots that he would usually put up, and he was looking to alley-oop to JV.
The third quarter.
Yeah,
that was the most noticeable of the bunch. I said to my buddy, we were sitting there watching the game. I said, "Look, Miami's a smart team. They got vets. They got a good coach. They're gonna start disrespecting Lowry. They're not even buying. They're gonna start going underneath screens. They're never even buying. It's like, yeah, you take that shot, knock yourself out. How about it, Haas? Shoot that 20-footer. How about it?"
And let me get to DeRozan. I read a report after last night's game. I can't remember which site it was. I don't want to put out which site it is unless I'm absolutely sure. But reports are DeMar said he's absolutely looking to go to LA in the offseason.
I heard that report too.
And what I say about that, the best thing about DeMar in LA is he's not in Toronto. That's the best thing. Now, I want him in LA. I mean, maybe on the Clipper team, but not on my team. I ain't giving this Joker $25 million. I'll tell you that much. I don't care if the salary cap is going up. I don't care if that $25 million will look like $15 million. I'm not giving him $25 million because this dude is pulling a Houdini right now.
Well. Let me play devil's advocate here. And I had this whole discussion last week at birthday party, going back and forth about this. First thing, you kind of said one point of it. You know, that's the going rate. The dude's 26 years old and he's scoring 24 a night. He's gonna get $25 million. Be it from your team out west or your team out east. But one of the two, they're going to pay him $25 million. So you best suck it up and just get used to it. And drink that lemonade. That's okay. And deal with that. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing. I'm not willing to throw the baby with the bathwater out after 2 weeks in this case here, because my point has always been with DeRozan. I think this whole thing about DeRozan not being a playoff performer, I think has been a bit overblown, because as far as I'm concerned, last year he pretty much produced what he produced in the regular season, as well as the year before. And he was coming off an injury, by the way, last season. He still put about 20 or 21 points a night in the playoffs. So my thing is, I think, as far as the field goal percentage goes, yeah, could that be better? I agree. It's pretty brutal at the moment. And that's one of the things where he's got to figure that out real quick. It's one of those things where he's got, he's got to figure out where he gets his shots from and really work on that. Or B, if he's going to go to the hoop, go up with pure aggression, he's going to just tear off a man's head. You can't go in there with no weak sauce. And I think to some extent the referees are kind of holding the whistle back on him a little bit. I won't lie. I mean, I'm sorry. A guy doesn't get the line twice at all, that gets to the line like 9 times during the regular season, there is a little bit of a respect factor. It still, there's, not just him, but the Raptors are fighting through a little bit. But that's the going rate for $25 million. It's the worst thing you can do. I honestly, I don't think it's the worst thing. I know people say like, what? I always say, where's the other 24 point? If I'm a Raptor fan, not the Lakers, but I'm a Raptor fan, and even the Lakers to some extent. Where's the 24 point per game score just falling off the trees? I hear these Raptor fans all of a sudden feel, you get sweet now. You're feeling sweet with yourselves after a few years. Oh, go out the greener pastures tomorrow. You're getting sweet with yourselves. You seem to forget the good old days where you're winning 25 games and stuff like that, and look at the tank every year. You're forgetting them days with Barney already. How fast we forget. It's like, oh yeah, because all of a sudden, right, folks are just going to be running up to Toronto. After we let our top scorer just walk out the door. You're right. That's going to work out real well for you in Toronto. Like it did for Chicago. Like it has been doing so well for the Knicks. Like it did for Minnesota. Let me call other teams I can think of. The Lakers for the last 3 years. It's worked out so well for the free agents, right? But Toronto's got the magic sauce. Okay, Raptor fans, I say to you again, including you, my friend, have at it, Haas, with that situation.
Hey, man. Again, another report that came out last night. Paul George might be on the market.
Paul George might be on the market for whom?
Paul George might be on that trading block. So we got to put some deals together, man. I believe in Masai, man. But you see what Masai did over in Denver?
Right. So roll this back for me. So let me get this straight here. So what's the deal we putting together here? I'm just curious.
Man, I haven't gone through all the details for the deal. I'm just saying.
Is DeMar part of this deal, or is he not part of this deal?
What's that?
So is this after DeMar walks, supposedly, or you don't pay him the money? This deal's supposed to happen?
Hey, man, I do a sign and trade.
Oh, sign and trade. I see.
I do a sign and trade. DeMar gets his money. We get what we want. Right. Who's the best player in that first round?
No, I'm not dogging that. I agree. My whole point is, that's my whole point. You better be giving more DeMar in this case if you get Paul George. It ain't going to be 1-for-1. I tell you that right now.
No, you got
a draft pick, something coming back. So I mean, I'm not sure DeMar's looking to go to Indianapolis either. No disrespect there, Floyd. It's a lovely city. Been there, planning to go there this summer. But I don't think he's got Indianapolis on mind. It's pretty much L.A. or Toronto. From L.A. to Toronto. That's where it is. There's nowhere else. That's it. And this all talk of L.A. stuff, honestly, I think this is just gamesmanship. Honestly, this is my thing. I think he's listening. His agents are listening, just like how we were yapping here and how folks were talking on the radio. Just like how you were coming as the fan person. I'm not paying him $25 million. I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can try and get the other guys down the street and kind of start talking like that. They might think twice. So it's all games and shit. Because I'm saying to myself, like, does DeRozan really want to start back at 0 again? Not likely. I don't care how much is his hometown. Yeah. He ain't going back to no 25-win team after going 4 years of that here. He's not going through that again. And the deeper they get the playoffs, he's not doing that. He's not.
If we keep him, we need to get a superstar player here that's to play alongside.
That's the conundrum. That's the part I always tell folks, like, look, you can't expect to go and let DeRozan walk and then expect, Durant's going to walk through a door. How's Durant walking through a door when you just let DeRozan out the door? It don't work that way, folks.
Man, let's kill all that talk because Durant's not going anywhere.
Well, I know that. That's my point. I know he's not going there, period. And with DeRozan leaving, it's not making it like, boy, can't wait to get to Toronto. It's not working. You need DeRozan to even give you half a chance for him to even think about it in his mind. It's not happening, I agree with you. But even you want the twinkle of, like, maybe Toronto. DeRozan best be there to be playing with him when he gets there. I'm sorry.
See, my thing with DeRozan is, I mean, you can have a great regular season, but like, I mean, what is this going to continue in the playoffs?
Well,
is this type of performance going to continue?
I think last night he had a lot of good looks, and he actually played pretty well overall. The field goal percentage was, wasn't great still, but we looked at the numbers. He had 5 or 6 assists, 4 or 5 boards, two steals. I mean, it's just, it's a solid game for the most part. I mean, when you looked at it. Now, is there parts where I think he can improve on? Yeah. Some things he's got to work in the offseason about. We all know what it is in this case. He's got to improve again. He's a north-south or east-west ball handler. He's fine with that. If he's got to get in the traffic, then things start happening. In this case here, he just doesn't have a tight enough handle to handle that.
Yeah, I mean, that showed in that last possession of that game.
Yeah, and to some extent that was something that was problematic from a few different ways, but I won't get into the details. A lot has to do with JV in this case here, but I won't leave that because that was looking like disaster from the moment he caught it. Like, this is disaster.
I mean, even in the fourth quarter, he had 2 big and one plays where he missed both free throws.
Totally get it. I totally get it. He missed the free throws. Obviously, it cost us the game. You put those 2 points. Yeah, you can say so. But the Raptors once again missed a lot of free throws all night. And when all said and done, you can say what you want with DeMar. You can even say what you want with the coach. Look, if your other all-star player is not playing anywhere close to what he's supposed to be playing at, I don't care. Even I am ripping on Casey. You can't expect any coach to actually survive that in a playoff series with a performance like that.
Well, not at all. Lowry's averaging 13 points and shooting 30%.
Right, 30%. And this is the part I'm going to tell folks in this case that, you know what, stop babying Lowry. I know in this case, DeMar gets the black hat and Lowry gets the white hat. Let me tell you something, folks. You better start looking at the numbers because this ain't something.
What was he? Was he 3 for 13 last night?
Right. This ain't something that just happened this series in Miami. This ain't just happening from last series in Indiana. This happened the series before last year in Washington. This is a trend, folks. That's what we call it. Trend line is going down. Exactly. It's not going up. I mean, I watched the boys last night on NBA TV, Isaiah Thomas and then Gray Anthony, those guys. They're like, yo, and some folks that I talked to at work, like, this is nothing to do with the elbow. It ain't nothing to do with elbow. It ain't nothing to do with elbow stuff. It isn't here now. This is all this is about. This dude shook. It's plain and simple, he shook. I can't remember you said it or Eve said it, but Nick Anderson is coming to mind. This dude is shook.
We'll credit that to Mr. Judson.
No doubt, Judd. I see you, Judd. No doubt. Orlando, Houston, I see you.
Yeah. But, I mean, here's the thing. Like I told you yesterday, I thought that by them getting past Indiana, I thought they would be playing a little bit more looser. I thought it would take some of the pressure off to a certain extent. And they wouldn't be as tight as they were in that first series.
I thought they looked pretty loose last night. I think they made some just mental mistakes that I think that this team has to clean up their act on that. And I think overall they seem pretty loose considering what I saw Indiana. They got off to a pretty good start. There's no time in the game I thought the guys looked tight or anything like that. I think when it's all said and done, it's just little things they need to clean up. But there's so many times in that game where the crowd, we're just all just begging for Lowry to hit 1-3, one shot that could change the game. It never came, and that's the part that you just can't win like that.
No, you can't.
You can't win.
Not at all. And to meet that, and in terms of strategy too, I think Wade, you can't do anything about Wade. Wade's gonna get his. We know that. But you can't let guys like Dragic get off. You can't let guys like Joe Johnson get off.
Well, Joe Johnson can get off, period. I mean, like, I watched him last night, Dad. I mean, like, that's going to be a problem. I can tell you that right now. That's going to be a problem.
That's exactly it. I mean, and those are the guys they have to limit. Forget about do what you can against Wade, but Wade's all-time great. This guy's going to get his.
And Joe Johnson's on what he's doing in the playoffs. I think the Dragic one is the one you got to clean up. But that once again, who's that point to again? That's what I'm saying. All you guys here, like, look, I know it's easy. We tease, we pick on Ross. Granted, the rookie had a bad game. Granted, sometimes I rip on JV in this case with the handling of the ball and not getting nailed one. Granted, DeMar's shooting percentage, I get that. Casey's decisions, I get that. But when it's all said and done, if you had a half decent Lowry game, this game's won with ease. I ain't even asking for a typical Lowry game. Give me something like 17 points and 7 assists. No turnovers or 1 turnover. And you're winning this game. You win this game. Everyone else does the same. You're winning this game.
Hey, man, as bad as they played, it took a miracle shot to take it into OT, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you got anything from Lowry, and the thing is, you could get away with that with Indiana. You're not going to get away with that with Miami, having Lowry playing with, scoring 9 points and 10 points. That's not going to work. And Miami's playing things really smart. They're now saying, this is our trend. We're not respecting you. You got to prove to us you can shoot. And until then, they had stat. I think Raptors Republic guys, shout out those guys. They had a stat. I guess one of the guys that mentioned where I guess is one of the, it's one of the True View things where I don't want to give credit to who it is, but they pulled it out where they're able to track in this case how many contested shots were taken by a player and how many uncontested shots were taken by a player, and the makes and misses. Yeah, Lowry, I think he had 13 shots. You said before, 2 contested, 11 uncontested. He missed. I think he hit 1 of the 11 uncontested. Which is the point I was making you guys offline for the last series period. That, listen, when all said and done, DeRozan, in this case, was the focal point of the defense, be it George and the double teams trying to drive it into Turner and those guys. To some extent, yeah, the percentages for DeMar, I can even get just watching the game to some extent. Lowry shots the shots he hits all the time. Lowry's playing pretty much single coverage for most of the time until about the game 6 when they started blitzing the pick and roll. Before then, they weren't even doing that. Like, the dude had open shots left, right, and center. He can't hit a shot. Can't hit free throws.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like the trend that we're seeing from Lowry in these series.
Yeah, I've never seen anything quite like it, man.
Hey, what's your prediction for tomorrow night?
You know what? I think they do win. I don't know how yet, but I think somehow they'll find a way to win. I think DeRozan will get stronger as the series goes on. But I think you're gonna have a point where call it whatever you want. I don't care what the field goal percentages are, but I think DeRozan's gotta look at this series like I gotta put 30 a night, 28 to 30 a night for us to win these games, because I can't get my typical 20 from the other guy. So he have to score extra 10 or so, maybe, or extra 6 or 7, and then someone else. JB's already going above his average. He gonna have to continue doing that. And then you have to get a third dude like a Ross or a Patterson throughout the series to kind of help you as a third dude. Because at this point, I have no faith that this is turning around with Lowry. I think they win. They're at home. They desperation. I think they win to what we said before. They'll clean it up a little bit. They had a chance to win the game. But I think there got to be some adjustments on defensive assignments, especially on Dragic. But I think they do win. But I have no faith in Lowry at all at this point that he's going to turn this around.
Yeah. That's the truth right there.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, folks. I wish I could be a little more positive about it. I think I had Raptors in 6 or 7 in this series. I'm sticking with that because it's going to be a long series, I think. But we'll see. If they lose tomorrow, it might not be as long as we think it's going to be.
Well, they lose tomorrow. They can't expect to beat Miami 4 times.
Yeah, they might take their swim trunks right down to Miami, just hang out there for a few weeks. They don't need to come back up here anytime soon.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's how you're pretty. Well, hey, we'll see how it happens, man. Ravi, it's good to be back for this one. We'll get this up as we get later in the playoffs. We'll try to do a round 2 wrap up. We'll see where things stand. Who knows? Maybe Toronto has basketball to play at that point. Against the Cleveland juggernaut. And we'll see how it plays out.
Oh man, I want to see that one just to see you torn. I want to see that series just to see you torn.
Hey, look. I got love for my Raptors and stuff like that. I expect a good series that they can get there. But I'll be shocked if they can dethrone the King. It just don't happen. Sorry, man. It just doesn't happen. I gotta use this, man. Hart might say it'd be nice, but I ain't getting fooled. Oh man. On that note, man, Ravi, where can the good folks find you, man?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Ravi Naran.
And you can find me at Beyond Locker Room, short for RM, man. We appreciate the support, guys. We'll catch you next time. Peace.